Overwatch Stadium is here, and I got to play it early, so I'm going to give you some helpful tips to get you ahead of the curve. Now, this is not going to be an explanation of how the game mode works. I am going to work under the assumption that you know what's going on, so if you've never played before, go give it a shot first, and then come back to this video. I'm not going to waste much of your time because I'm certain you want to play Stadium as fast as possible, so let's go over these quick 8 tips to help you get started. Tip number 1, do not stick to a strict build. While it's tempting to just stick with a predetermined build and fill it out as you go, you actually need to be a little more flexible in order to find success. The only things that are permanent are your powers, so as you buy items, you need to focus on what you're going to need in the moment. If your damage is good but you're struggling to stay alive, maybe build into more lifesteal for a round or two as you get your survivability up. If your tank is demanding more resources than you can currently provide, maybe build into higher healing or ability power to better support them before your own power spike. You receive all the money back that you initially spent on your items when you built them, so you can min-max your money as much as possible to squeeze the most raw numbers out of them when you can. Even if some of the things you buy aren't necessarily on track for your final build, using what you have in the moment is absolutely necessary in order to win. Especially in the early game, these differences can make or break your rounds, so be flexible and use your money. Tip number 2. Not only should you not have strict builds, you should also be prepared to have multiple builds. Because you can't switch characters mid-match, you may find yourself facing a team comp that your character in the base game isn't really good against. Luckily, Stadium builds allow you to get around these limitations. If I'm playing Reinhardt into an Orisa, I'm probably not going to go with a charge build since Orisa is really good at shutting me down with Fortify. There are multiple ways I could get around these limitations. Most likely I can start building stacking attack and movement speed to attempt to get around the Orisa and get to her backline. Or I could build the flying charge perk and send it right over her head to the rest of her team. Either way, this may force the Orisa to build more into Javelin Toss or Javelin Spin to shut you down in a different way. Your reactiveness forces that Orisa to counteract and have her ideal game plan get disrupted, which is exactly what you're looking for. One bad character pick on paper does not determine your success in the game. Stadium is a whole new ballpark. Being prepared with multiple builds will allow you to easily slot into them, although you can make them up on the fly if you want. Tip number 3. It's okay to have some wasted value. Many of the items in the shop that you can buy not only have stat buffs, but also extra added effects. While it's optimal if you can use every little thing an item provides, if your build or character aren't perfectly aligned with an item, don't feel like you shouldn't buy it. If I'm playing D.Va and I really think I need attack speed, but the only other attack speed item I can afford has ammo capacity with it, I'm still gonna buy that item. Even if another item gives me more value on paper, like max health for instance, building items that lean into your build is going to provide you far more value than what you can see on paper. While Stadium loves to quantify value and numbers, that is not gonna tell the full story. You know your build better than the game does. Tip number 4. Don't be baited by character-specific items. Each character has a handful of items that are unique with special interactions for their toolkit specifically. Because these are the most expensive in their categories and are generally a little more fun, it can be pretty tempting to make sure you have at least one of these items. But don't be fooled! If it doesn't go with your build, don't buy it. The powers that you pick determine what you need to buy, not the other way around. If one of them does fit your build, that's great, but they absolutely are not a requirement for success. Also, side note, make sure you check all of the tabs, weapon, ability, and survival, because sometimes those hero-specific ones get a little muddled up about what they actually do. Orisa, for instance, has an item that's classified as survival, but it directly relates to her spear. So if you're doing an AP build with your spear, you might actually want to pick that one up as well. Tip number 5. The first round is super important for some characters and not as valuable for other characters. Going into the first round, you don't get a lot of money, so your focus should be on your first power rather than your items. Now, powers are permanent, so you need to start looking towards your final build at the beginning, but I have found that your first power is far more important for tanks more so than the other roles. Being able to get a power that gives you the greatest power spike while the economy is the tamest it will be during the whole game is crucial to gaining an early lead, which is super important in this game mode. Queen, for instance, has probably the most broken power in the game with the commanding shot that gets reset with eliminations, and that can snowball the first point or two insanely fast. DPS can have some of this too, but specifically for support, supporting your initiator as much as possible is important early. So instead of building the power that your build revolves around right away, consider waiting until round 3 or even later and build a perk that helps your tank's game plan now. What's the good of a late game build if you can never get to the late game? Tip number 6, bounties are the key to comebacks, so make sure you focus on them. Picture this, you are in the buy phase for round 3 and you're already down 0-2. How do you proceed? In my opinion, the most important factor to keep the game alive is collecting bounties. If the money deficit is too wide at the end of the 3rd round and the score is a 3-0, the game will just end. So getting money is the goal in this round, not necessarily winning it. Build your items specifically to assassinate bounty targets, especially the squishier supports who have gotten the bounty only by living for a long time rather than doing a lot of damage or healing. Even if you lose this round, collecting bounties will not only keep you in the game, but give you an influx of money that you will need to hit the power spike necessary to catch back up with the other team. It's not a foolproof plan, you are down a couple of rounds, but you do need to keep yourself in the game somehow, which is more important than just focusing on a build you'll never get to. Tip number 7. Perspective isn't just subjective. Stadium allows you to play in first or third person, and while on the surface it may seem like personal preference, there is an advantage to either mode. The advantage to first person is mainly familiarity, as it plays like Overwatch proper, with some more chaos added into the mix. But that chaos is much better managed with a pulled back camera, one that gives you not only a larger view of the battlefield, but also allows you to see places the first person perspective won't allow. Especially in characters who flank, like a Genji, looking over your shoulder around a wall where they can't see you but you can see them will give you a crazy advantage at the beginning of fights. Even with the somewhat awkward third-person implementation and the possibility of your shots hitting walls when you aren't aiming at them, I think third-person is the way to go 90% of the time. Hit-scan aim-heavy characters I think are a little different, especially those with scopes, but overall I think third-person should be your go-to, and then fall back on first-person if you need it. And finally, tip number 8. The entire map matters. The stadium versions of new and existing maps are much smaller than the rest of the maps in the regular game of Overwatch. Because many characters' builds need time and space to set up properly, denying those elements during your advantage is crucial. Be aggressive, hold close, and hit your buttons first in order to maximize your success and deny the enemy as much money as possible. Some of these maps have spawn rooms that are pretty close, so be careful with exactly where you play, but do not be afraid to get up in their faces and show them who's boss. Getting familiar with these maps will be important because since they're so small, every little nook and cranny kind of matters a lot more. Here's hoping in the future we can see these in the custom game mode and look around them, but for right now, you'll just have to play a lot more games to make sure you understand where to go. Stadium is not going to be figured out right away, and I am by no means saying I know 100% what is good and what isn't, but in my experience, I have had the most success generally sticking to a lot of these tips. It's easy to get overwhelmed and want to stick with what you know in MOBA-esque games, but the launch of this mode is a perfect opportunity to learn the ins and outs. So be brave, be creative, and have fun with your builds and playstyles, and make sure to leave me all your wacky creations in the comments below. Alright, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy Stadium, and I hope to see you guys in the arena. And if you're watching this on the day it goes live, I will be streaming Season 16 today at 5 p.m. EST on this YouTube channel and at twitch.tv/LaneHemingway. Come say hi if you get the chance. Make sure you like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of my YouTube uploads, and do not forget to join my Discord server down below. I have a decent amount of uploads scheduled for this week, but that's because it's the start of a new season, so once the hype moments in Aura die down, I will get back to working on some of my larger projects. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, please have a good day.